Yo, welcome back to my crappy toy reviews. Today, I honestly had no clue what video to make, and this is my second time because I had to delete all my storage again because my phone sucks. But today we're talking about all the cool, spooky movies, and then also I'm gonna talk about the really horrible ones. But I'm gonna talk about the horrible ones first. You better bet that. But yeah, you might be asking which ones are the horrible ones. Well, before we get into that, honestly, very not popular opinion is the new Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not very new anymore, but 2011, I think, or 2010, they made a new Nightmare on Elm Street with a new actor, not played by Robert Englund or whatever the hell his name is, and people really disliked it. But in my opinion, the actor he was kind of weird, and then the spooks are kind of goofy, and a bunch of stuff. But other than that, honestly, very unpopular opinion, but I think the serious tone of the film compared to the goofiness of the sequels of compared to the original Nightmare on Elm Street is actually kind of better. But for those who don't know, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, I think 1984 had Johnny Depp in that. I wonder what Johnny Depp's up to this today. Okay, um, but yeah, the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street, it actually was kind of creepy. It wasn't like it took itself seriously. It wasn't all goofy and had jokes and like running gags, and there's always like someone dying in the goofiest dream sequence type of ways, which you just like couldn't imagine. Like someone got their in the sequel, someone got their head smashed into a TV in a sane asylum, and so much goofy. And then someone got like they were like turned into strings, and then they used their organs or whatever it was, and they fell off the building. But it's just silly. Let's not get into that. It's too much for right now. Yeah, but yeah, the new Nightmare on Elm Street, not new, but the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, the tone wasn't that bad. I really liked the backstory in some form. I don't know about the child molester part. That was kind of terrible, but a little bit too deep. But I do like how they gave the backstory. It like the kids within the thing where Freddy didn't actually bring him into his up and coming dream sequence. So what happened to him, but they actually accidentally discover it when they're one of the kids in the new movie went in the pool and he drowned because he was a Olympic swimmer for like some high school swimming team or something. But yeah, he wakes up out of the water because he's supposedly dead and or like passed out. I'm not explaining this right. I'm being honest, but he wakes up and then all the people are chasing Freddy. He has his iconic jacket. That's how he wears it in his fedora. But what happens, which they showed it earlier in the original '80s movies, it just hinted at it by just saying, I think it was maybe third, fourth one. I don't know, remember. But the mom actually went down and told the daughter in the cellar of their house that Freddy, they actually killed Freddy, supposedly, they thought. Because the girl found Freddy's glove in the fire. What is the thing that's called underneath? I don't know what it's called, but they had his glove and they burnt all the stuff or burnt him, and then his stuff was still it was burnt, but they hid it in one of the chimney things in the attic. I mean, no, basement. I'm so dumb. But yes, basement. I'm not editing this video. But yeah, basement. And then after that, Freddy told her in a dream sequence where the gloves and the hat were, and then actually, yeah, after the mom said everything's fine and said Freddy was dead, the glove and the hat and all that was gone. So that means no, everything isn't fine. So because Freddy's somewhere out there, fucking snatching little kids and shit in dreams and shit. So that means he was pretty much alive in the dreams. Even in the real world, it affected in some way because all the kids are dead, and the glove is missing, and the fedora, which the mom kept from the daughter and the whole fucking town. Yeah, but basically the generation before found out about Freddy in the newer movies. They explain the whole background that Freddy did something bad to something. I don't want to explain what happened. You just go watch it. But yeah, all the parents got pissed. They fucking hunted him down to a fucking warehouse and they set him on fire. and then he died, and somehow he became like a god in some other afterlife realm. He became the Nightmare King, you know, haunted people in their dreams. But yeah, but the end of the movie, there was so much stuff that was cut out of the newer 2010 Nightmare movie that actually they just could have kept it in, because the newer scenes that they replaced it with were so much goofier and so stupid. Like one of them had like Freddy. He was just, it was so seamless where it wasn't supposed to be a giant out there jump scare like boom. No, it was just Freddy. His head was behind a box because his hat was on the box. But when they look back, um, yeah, his head wasn't there, and it was just a hat. But in the newer scene, which they cut that one out and replace it for the newer scene, it's a quick, just shitty jump scare of Freddy just going at them, and the girl just jumps back, totally out of sequence and everything, like it wasn't even supposed to be in there. They could have just kept the original because it was so seamless. It wasn't supposed to be a giant jump scare, which most people, movies, all they do that anyways because that's what people already expect at this point. Could have just kept the original one, but doesn't matter. What's it called? So yeah, and then after that, they find the elementary school, which they find out what happened to one of the girls, and why Freddy, when she's older, is hunting her down in her dreams because he knew her as a child. This is their newer movie's backstory, and then they go into the abandoned elementary school, and whatever it is, daycare, I don't fucking know. They go into it, and then they find actually, so Freddy, he was a real normal dude, well, somewhat normal. He was like he did the gardening at the school. He fixed the stuff. I don't know what the people call it. And he was basically a janitor, mix of a janitor, a gardener. He fixed up the school. He was handy dandy. That's how he made all his knives, because people wouldn't show in like the background of the original movies that he was actually pretty handy dandy. Actually, in the fifth, sixth one, don't quote me at this. This is not all on the top of my head, but they actually showed Robert Englund backstory within a dream sequence that is supposedly somewhat canon, where it actually shows Robert Englund before he got burnt and became, fucking dream, fucking nightmare, burnt Chris face dude. He was just a regular dude, but he was really handy dandy, and he would sharpen knives, and he would make like gloves out of it, like he was making tools to like work on stuff, and that's how he got his gloves in the afterlife. But what else is there? Yeah, so the girl and the kid that go to school, they both, I suppose, they guess went to the school when they're younger. They find Freddy's hidden room, his janitor room, where he actually slept there because he didn't have a house. He actually had a hidden room within the elementary school where it had a bed on the ground and like a little tiny room, and all the kids' drawings he kept. No, I'm not making this up. You can go watch yourself. And then like the chimney had like all his knives and his hat. Yeah, and it's crazy. And then she goes into the dream thing. They give her something for her to go to sleep. She goes into the dream while the dude's watching the real world to get her out. And then they actually get Freddy into the real world because she grabs him, and then they wake her. He wakes her up, and they stick Freddy on the bed, and then he fucking yeah, they stab something in him, and he dies. Yeah, that's what happened. So, yeah, the new movie is actually pretty good. Even though it was, a lot of it's goofy, the actor's pretty goofy. Don't get me wrong, he was terrifying looking, but it was also goofy, and like some of the CGI in his face to make like the holes, because they were trying to go for something more realistic. It didn't go so well, and they ended up showing like a bunch of green on it, CGI that wasn't done for the final movie, so that was kind of goofy, but can't hate on that. Cinematography was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know. All right, so the original, what is it called? Not Nightmare on Elm Street. So we got the original Halloween. Let's talk about the original Halloween. So the original Halloween movie was actually pretty good for like a low budget. It was. They actually got like a Captain Kirk mask. They said go find the scariest mask within some random Halloween store. Yeah, finding some Captain Kirk mask. They turned off the whatever this is called, and then they turned off the eyebrows, and then they paint the face because it was like a different skin tone. They painted super white, kept the hair on the top, made it fuzzier, and then cut the eye holes wider, and then yeah, that's how they got the original mask. They actually, after the movie was filmed, one of the dudes that made the film, whoever directed the original one or something. No, actually, it wasn't the director. It was one of the people that worked on the side film, like original cameraman for the original 1978 movie. He kept it under his bed. Like, he kept the mask under his bed, so it was all folded in half, so they couldn't use it for the sequel or something, which is too bad because the sequel mask is kind of goofy. But it only gets goofier from there, the mask, and then they go back to nicer looking masks. Some of the masks are like so tight in his face, it looks like, it looks like, it doesn't even look like a mask anymore. It looks like a rubber, like, freaking, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, what else is there? I mean, if I had to pick the best mask for the movie, probably be the first one, or the newer movies that are coming out. The original, not the original, the sequel to the original Halloween, 2018 one was actually The Mask. Other than some of the features, it looked like it was kind of fake, like all the scars and cuts. Like the mask wouldn't look like that after 1978 to 2018. The mask, it would look a little worse, but in a way a little bit more folded. But it wouldn't have like super detailed scratches in it like some fucking molder came in. But obviously it's a movie. They could have made it more like the original mask with some updated features. I feel like that's the one thing I really wanted them to do. But everything else in the 2018 movie was pretty solid. Wasn't my favorite, but yeah. And then original Halloween, good movie. After that, I don't think that's any more left for Halloween movies. There's obviously kid movies and all that other stuff, but yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Let me pause and think. Oh yeah, forgot Friday the 13th. That one exists. Original one I didn't really like that much. Like the action and then the kids go on the camp. I didn't like the costume mostly. The original one with the bag over his head with like a slit hole, and then it's just some random freaking farm freaking jumpsuit. It looked horrible. I'll be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my movies. All right, make another sequel to